Hi, I'm Kevin Misho, he, they pronouns, and I'm the dramaturg on this production of E and You Belong to Us. So, I think the first thing to note is that this play is going to be taking place in two different time periods. We're going to be in modern day, and then we're also going to be traveling back to the 15th century. And so, I think the most useful context as far as the 15th century is that we're in the midst of the Hundred Years' War, which was a conflict between the British and the French, who believed they had claims to each other's thrones. And in this particular situation with Joan, she is fighting for a French prince who was disowned by their father, who gave the French throne to a British king, Henry V. And that's pretty much what you need to know about that situation. But moving to modern day, this production was originally supposed to be produced months ago, right around the time where we were going to find out the election results. And we were kind of waiting to see where the tone of the nation was going to be after the election because we didn't know which way it was going to go. But now that we're months later, we had to look at this play and see how it still relates to where we are currently. And I think this play does a great job at exemplifying the ongoing fight for queer identity and queer rights and queer equality, and how it will always be an ongoing thing in this nation, as far as I'm concerned, because right now we currently have half the nation fighting for or anti-trans legislation, and that's ridiculous right now. And I think this play also shows how the queer community supports each other and can learn from each other. And even if you don't necessarily identify under the LGBTQ plus umbrella, uh, I think it's still important to educate yourselves and not necessarily put it on the queer community to educate you. And I think even if we're fighting in the 15th century or in the modern day, we still need allies. So go out and educate yourself. And I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you enjoyed the entire season. Thanks. Hi, I'm Kevin Misho, he, they pronouns, and I'm the dramaturg on this production of E and You Belong to Us. So, I think the first thing to note is that this play is going to be taking place in two different time periods. We're going to be in modern day, and then we're also going to be traveling back to the 15th century. And so I think the most useful context as far as the 15th century is that we're in the midst of the Hundred Years' War, which was a conflict between the British and the French, who believed they had claims to each other's thrones. And in this particular situation with Joan, she is fighting for a French prince who was disowned by their father, who gave the French throne to a British king, Henry V. And that's pretty much what you need to know about that situation. But moving to modern day, this production was originally supposed to be produced months ago, right around the time where we were going to find out the election results. And we were kind of waiting to see where the tone of the nation was going to be after the election because we didn't know which way it was going to go. But now that we're months later, we had to look at this play and see how it still relates to where we are currently. And I think this play does a great job at exemplifying the ongoing fight for queer identity and queer rights and queer equality, and how it will always be an ongoing thing in this nation as far as I'm concerned, because right now we currently have half the nation fighting for or anti-trans legislation, and that's ridiculous right now. And I think this play also shows how the queer community supports each other and can learn from each other. And even if you don't necessarily identify under the LGBTQ plus umbrella, uh, I think it's still important to educate yourselves and not necessarily put it on the queer community to educate you. And I think even if we're fighting in the 15th century or in the modern day, we still need allies. So go out and educate yourself. And I hope you enjoy the show. I hope you enjoyed the entire season. Thanks.
I'm Ken Goldstein, he, him pronouns, and currently the chair of the Department of Theater Arts here at SUNY New Paltz. On behalf of the students and faculty of the department, I want to welcome you to McKenna Theater and our stage reading of Eat and You Belong to Us, written by M.J. Kaufman and directed by Catherine Doherty. We're just 1 week away from the end of classes for the spring semester, but we continue our practice of streaming these performances to ensure the health and safety of our students, faculty, and for the protection of our community here on campus. In fact, this performance was originally scheduled for last semester, but out of an abundance of caution, we chose to postpone instead of putting the company at an elevated risk of exposure to COVID. The entire season has been produced through online meetings and rehearsals, and by following the same in-person safety protocols and social distancing measures we have in our face-to-face classes. And while we've invested in technology to support our streaming, what you'll see is in the true spirit of a staged reading. Our season provides educational opportunities for students, and just as important, space for stories that provoke timely conversations and resonate with our community. This play, and the other titles we produced this season, have prioritized the inclusion of underrepresented voices and the work of traditionally marginalized populations. As artists and educators, it's our responsibility to actively engage in shaping the future of the American theater, and to stand by anti-racist principles in building a truly diverse, inclusive, equitable, and safe community. Theater tells the stories of the human experience, and some of the content of our season may be challenging to witness as an audience member. Please take care of yourselves by researching the content and themes of the play and reaching out to us before the performance if you have any questions about how the content and themes are portrayed in performance. As this is our last public event of the academic year, I want to take a moment and try to convey my deepest appreciation to all of the students, the faculty, and the guest artists that have participated in the season. Without your effort, your energy, passion, your resilience, and your talents, none of what has been accomplished this year would have been possible. There are, of course, a few members of our community that have gone well beyond in their commitment to the work, investing immeasurable time in our season. I'm so grateful to each of you. I want to extend a special thank you to all of you that have joined us on this experimental journey as an audience member. We look forward to being able to invite you to join us in the theater, to share in the excitement of live face-to-face performances as soon as it's safe to do so. So please keep an eye out for information about next season, as I hope you'll continue to stay connected to the department and continue to support the next generation of arts workers. If you find yourself in a position to contribute to these efforts, please do consider becoming a friend of the theater. Thank you again for watching, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Eat and you belong to us. Scene 1. Medieval France. Grands is not Grands yet. Grands is Joan. There is a fire. Joan is in the fire.
This time is different. People eat dried meat and bread we would find disgusting. They go to the bathroom in pots, rarely bathe, and don't have deodorant. When you eat, you belong to the one who feeds you. I have not eaten, so I belong to God. To die for something you believe in is not normal per se, but understood. A woman is something different here.
Scene 2. Karen, Sally, and Jaime eat soup in their house.
Could I be related to Joan of Arc?
We have no way of knowing.
Have a bite of soup at least.
It's watery.
The texture's perfect. Since we bought that new blender, I feel like a new person.
Mom should be arriving any minute.
Not Mom.
Sorry, Grands.
Why can't you get with the program?
I'm old.
You're younger than Grands.
Anyway, I was thinking about it, and I think it makes most sense for them to stay in Jamie's room.
Where will I stay?
In the living room.
Why can't Grands stay in the living room?
Because they're 80, and tomorrow they're going to have their boobs removed.
You just love saying that.
I brought it up in my staff meeting and became pretty popular pretty quickly. I have to say, everyone wants to talk about gender. Nothing like having a tran for your own mother.
I bet.
Grands doesn't like being called mother. Grands likes being called parent.
Well, I know, but she was my mother.
You should probably learn to talk about them the right way before you brag about them in your next staff meeting. And they're 79, not 80. Our birthday isn't for another month.
79 is basically 80.
It's literally not.
What did you do in school today?
Thought about death, her cold black eyes.
How did that come up in school?
Role model day happens on the yearly. We're supposed to come to school with a role model in mind and make a collage from some cheap old-fashioned magazines.
This is high school?
No need to guess who your role model was?
I immediately went looking for red and black paint because I knew I would need to paint her bleeding out and turning into charcoal in the fire. Classmates around me discussed Taylor Swift, and all I could think of was, what did she ever die for?
You know, it's not so good to die for a cause. If you die, you can't really work for the cause anymore. It's better to live for one.
I wish anyone here actually cared about anything.
We care about things.
Like what?
Well, like the environment.
And poverty.
You like poverty?
Well, I mean, reducing poverty.
So you like give to charity and recycle? Joan was ready to die for what she believed in.
You know, there actually are people who are willing to risk their life for things in this day and age. And they're crazy. They blow up buildings and murder innocent people. I mean, that's what we're really talking about here, right? Terrorists?
Honey,
Well, at least Joan had something to believe in. She believed in God.
So do the terrorists.
sweetheart, your obsession with death has come to, well, concern us. Are there things associated with life that you like?
You mean like puppies and unicorns? Gross. Death is so much more interesting.
I'd like you to name some things you like about being alive. I know you can do it.
Okay. I like shocking people, sleeping in a field during a rainstorm, not doing what people expect, breaking things, and eating meat without a fork. I still like death, and her best of all.
There she is.
They,
Mom,
grands.
Well, hello, everyone.
we're just finishing dinner.
A soup, would you like some?
Smells like animals.
It's just a tablespoon of chicken stock, organic, grain-free.
Haven't eaten an animal in decades, and I'm not about to start now.
How are you feeling about tomorrow, Mom?
Downright giddy. Been wanting to get rid of these suckers for eons.
I know, it's quite momentous.
Let me show you my collage from Role Model Day.
Role Model Day? What is this, the second grade?
I feel the same way.
Come up to my room. It's where you're staying anyways.
Good night, Mom.
Let us know if you need anything.
Scene 3, in Jamie's room.
Roller derby.
Trampoline gym.
Medieval times party.
That's a big deal.
Well, it's a big birthday, 15 and 80. You only turn those ages once.
You make a good point. We'll have to start planning more seriously after the surgery.
Want to come hang out with me in the field? It's pretty great there.
Honey, I've got to sleep. I've got the surgery at 9 a.m. tomorrow.
Okay. Sleep well then.
You too.
Jamie starts to go to the field.
I've been reading the book that you got me, reading and rereading it.
Well, I'm so glad you like it. It was my favorite also when I was your age.
Scene 4, the field, evening. What the neighbors think. They sit on their porch.
She's always alone out there in that field.
A girl should be left alone in a field. It will help her imagination.
Isn't that called neglect?
No, it's the opposite. It's independence.
Are we sure everything's okay with her?
Why wouldn't everything be okay with her?
I mean, she's out, alone, in the field, at night. Quite a lot.
You raise a good point.
You know, I never liked those moms.
You're full of declaratives today.
There continues to be the problem of homophobia, and yet I have no problem saying I never liked those moms.
I never liked myself.
What does that have to do with anything?
I'm gay too, while we're talking about gay people we never liked.
Oh, I think I hear our frittata beeping.
Joe goes inside. Karen and Sally clean up in the kitchen.
I'd just like to understand a little bit more about why Joan of Arc specifically.
She's a naive adolescent interested in shocking adults. She's a rebel without a cause.
But what started it all?
It was that book Mom gave her at Christmas.
Grands.
If you think about all the things she might admire from the Joan story, the courage, the integrity, the initiative, but she chooses death.
Well, not just death.
Did you hear her?
Noble death, martyrdom.
Great. Exactly what you want your daughter to admire.
She's only 14. She's not about to martyr herself for anything.
What makes you say that? Joan did.
In the field.
Hi.
Oh, hi. I'm your neighbor Ted.
I'm Joan.
Oh, geez, I must have been really mixed up. I thought your name was Jamie.
I just changed it. Or rather, it was given to me. It's my secret name.
Gotcha. Who gave it to you?
That's the secret part.
Ah, okay, cool.
Have you ever risked your life for anything?
I'm not sure. Let me think.
Have you ever cared so much about something that you would die for it?
I don't know. Actually, no. I don't think so, no.
That's why I chose the name. Joan of Arc. She was willing to die for what she believed in.
And what was that?
Freeing France, the peasants, dressing as a boy.
Those are great things.
She heard voices. She believed in something bigger than herself. She had no doubts.
Have you ever felt willing to die for something before?
Well, of course not. That's why I'm obsessed with her. If I knew anyone who cared about anything enough to risk their life for it, I wouldn't have to obsess over a historical figure. I knew from the first day I saw the picture that I was waiting for something. I was waiting for something bigger than me. If only I knew what that was.
Oh man, you know, I read this article that talked about living in a time of a God-shaped hole. Like, faith and community used to be the things that guided our shared humanity, but we've sort of let them fall away. We have this emptiness, and we grab onto physical things rather than filling it spiritually. So, I hear what you're saying. If only people had anything to die for these days.
Apparently the terrorists do, but I don't know any.
Me neither.
If you could excuse me now, this is where I talk to Joan.
Sure thing.
Honey, the frittata burnt!
Scene 5. Karen brings Grands home from the hospital.
Water. Soup, it's vegetarian this time, I promise. Rest. Magazine. Quiet. You just make yourself comfortable.
Grands, are you okay? Are you in pain?
And the other time it was not like this. I was a bad girl then, so bad I became good again. Literally a saint. I felt no pain as the flames rose. God was protecting me.
Grands?
Honey, you have to let her sleep. She just had surgery.
They.
Scene 6. Dinner.
I'm trying out a new pronoun thing where I alternate Z with she.
What with she?
Z. It's a gender-neutral pronoun. Z, zier. Like, Z didn't finish zier's soup. Use Z sometimes and she's the other times because that's the amount of she I am. I'm she sometimes.
I'll do my best, hun, but I'm old and I'm still working on Grand's pronouns.
You could just say thanks for letting you know.
Thanks for letting me know.
I'm glad you're not getting rid of she altogether. I like she myself.
But you can use whatever pronouns you want, sweetie.
I'm only using it because of her. Joan of Arc?
Honey, we think it's great that you've found a role model. Also, we want to encourage you to take inspiration from people who are still alive.
Tell me more about the terrorists. I'm gonna do them for the next role model day.
Sweetheart, don't joke about that. They're crazy people.
Don't say crazy, that's offensive. Anyway, Joan is a martyr, right? Which is a little different than a terrorist.
I think they're pretty similar.
What's the difference?
I always thought martyrs died for something. Terrorists just want to create terror. Didn't Joan die for France?
Not technically. Technically, she got killed for dressing as a boy in the prison. Does that make her a martyr or a terrorist?
It's neither, honey. Dressing as a boy doesn't make you anything like that.
But she said God told her to. The voices told her to. Same way they told her to take back France. She was dying for something, the voices.
Doesn't anyone at school teach you about Amelia Earhart, Harriet Tubman, Eleanor Roosevelt, Rosa Parks? There are some wonderful female role models out there for you to choose from.
I'm not a female. I'm in between, like Joan. And I don't want a good role model. I hate pretending to be good. That's why I hate school. It's a place that exists that you get used to obeying, and the main thing I enjoy in life is rebelling.
Certainly sounds like a conflict.
You're going to have to behave around Mom. She just had serious surgery and needs a lot of rest.
Not Mom. Grands, why can't you get that?
We're trying.
It takes a long time.
You're not really trying.
That's not very respectful.
Well, it's been years.
Think about it if it was me. Think about if I transitioned and you had to switch and not call me Mom all of a sudden. Wouldn't that be hard?
No, I would just stop calling you Mom. It's not that hard. And Grands isn't transitioning. Grands just is.
Well, I mean, she was my mother, and then she transitioned to be my parent.
They were never your mother, and they never transitioned. They were always themselves. You just couldn't see it. Me and Grands aren't like you. We're connected to something bigger. Can I be excused yet? I'm done eating.
Well, maybe we could stay and talk.
There's nothing I want to talk to you about. Nothing in the whole wide world.
Well, that's not very nice.
I don't really care.
Maybe you should go to your room.
Grands is in my room.
Well, then maybe you should go to the living room.
Jaime exits, but instead of going to the living room, goes to the field.
There's nothing she wants to talk about with us in the whole wide world.
How did we raise a child that hates us?
How did we raise a child who's obsessed with death?
She's not really obsessed with death. She's obsessed with glory. And anyway, it's her behavior that's the problem.
So it would be okay if she was obsessed with death, but behaved well.
Oh, look, the wishbone.
So?
Want to make a wish with me?
Not really.
Why not?
Because I don't believe in wishes.
Even a wish about our daughter? Or a parent who's recovering from surgery?
I don't believe in wishes.
Well, that's depressing.
Did we not give her enough role models?
We're lesbians.
What is that supposed to mean?
I'm a woman scientist, for Christ's sake.
You're a woman graduate student. I'm a woman who supports a family.
With a secretary job.
I'm a personal assistant.
But I'm a woman in a field of men.
Every field is a field of men.
She's alone in the field.
That's right. I am.
No. Our daughter is alone in the field.
What the neighbors think.
She's alone in that field again.
All alone in the field.
She looks ready to go.
Do you think she's running away?
I don't know about that.
I would. If my parents fought that loudly,
Well, what are we supposed to do about it?
probably walk out there and offer her a bed in our house.
No,
Yes.
but we're elderly gay men. That can't be appropriate.
She's probably hungry for some male role models given her lesbian parents.
That's not how that works.
Isn't it? Oh, I hear our turnip gratin.
In the field, Jones start to appear.
Come here, Joe. You gotta see this.
I'm in the bathroom.
I don't know what's going on, but you gotta.
I'm pooping. Leave me alone, okay?
It's time to take you back. It's time to take you back. It's time to take you back.
The Jones and Jaime disappear in a giant and beautiful puff of light. Ted falls to the ground.
Honey? Snookums? What is it? Sexy ginger snap. Where'd you go? Honey, oh God, are you... What happened? Honey, oh, balls. Your hair.
Huh?
You're bald.
No, I'm not. I have one tuft. What the hell?
Scene 7, Karen and Sally in the kitchen.
I want to buy a house in the country.
We already live in the country. There's a field behind our house.
But I want to buy animals, real chickens that lay real eggs, pigs we can slaughter. I'm still a farm girl at heart. I like being dirty.
I like when you're dirty.
Should we not?
Why would we not?
We don't usually. Well,
She's definitely asleep.
How do you know?
She's not in the field anymore. Didn't even ask for dessert.
Well, why didn't she?
She's exhausted. She's been misbehaving for a month nonstop. That takes energy. Oh, it's been a while.
Scene 8, medieval France.
Fresh meat!
You know the story. You know the story.
You know the story well.
Each year another ventures through.
Our legacy of Jones continues.
You picked Joan. If you wanted something different, now is the moment to say so.
Did you want the Emily Dickinson cycle?
Speak up, or forever hold your peace.
God, no.
So, you're Joan now.
Soon you'll begin the journey. The longer you spend here, the less you remember your other life.
You will only know what Joan has known.
That is the state for all of us.
It is how we know what to do next without fear. The important thing is that you find the pulse of your time in her story.
So, are you ready?
I was born ready.
Eat, and you belong to us. This is the 15th century.
When you eat here, you belong to the one who feeds you.
This is for practical reasons above all.
Consider digestion.
And then, of course, the great stratification of power. Not many of us have much of it.
Not much access to the means of production, the source of food, least of all you.
You're a peasant.
They can tell every time you open your mouth. As far as food and belonging are concerned, there are spiritual dimensions as well, which is what will come into play here.
So, do you want to belong to the Jones?
Jaime eats. Scene 9, Ted stares at the field from his porch.
Honey, are you okay?
That girl was abducted. I don't know where she is. And at the same time, I lost my last tuft. Oh, too cruel.
I think you should eat something.
You always think that.
It's been 24 hours without eating or sleeping. That's not good for your health.
Wow, congratulations. I can tell you have a background as a nurse practitioner. I should go over there and talk to them.
Not right now, you don't.
Why not?
You look like a creeper. Try getting some sleep and nourishment.
I just keep thinking about it. She was all alone in that field. I could have gone to her. I've been all alone like that before. All alone in a field.
When?
I don't know. I just know I have.
Scene 10, medieval France. Jaime rides a horse, the sun is rising, the other Jones walk beside Zir.
Riding a horse won't be easy at first.
You're a peasant. You've never had your own horse before. You'll have a stomachache at the beginning.
I'll get used to it.
We're starting you on the path to Vaucouleur.
You're going to have to convince them to let you fight.
It's not going to work. You're going to have to return twice more.
Remember to predict that they'll lose at the Battle of Rouvray.
They'll think you're a saint for that.
I got this.
Remember to bring up the saints Margaret and Catherine a lot. They're speaking to you and telling you where to go.
Cool. Are they gonna, like, actually speak to me, or...
If you listen hard enough.
Got it. Listening.
We say goodbye here.
Oh, man. Thanks, you, Jones. It's been incredible.
Go forth.
You know what you must do.
Scene 11.
I checked her room again. I really don't think she took anything with her unless we missed something really big.
She didn't even go in her room that day, that night.
But how could she run away with nothing? No money, no clothes.
Unless she moved her things before. Maybe she was planning this.
Can you think of any more friends to call?
She hasn't had a friend over in years.
What about Annabelle?
Annabelle?
Weren't they friends?
Who's Annabelle?
I don't know, but I think we should call her.
Who is she? What's her last name?
I don't know.
We could look in a school directory. Do we have a school directory?
We got rid of it. The last place we saw her was the field, right?
We saw her in that field.
And after that?
I don't remember after that.
God, what are we gonna do?
It's not knowing that eats you up.
All those interactions with the police?
You know, you haven't cried since.
I'm all waddled up. And to think, we were having sex. Well,
And it was the first time in a year. We were doing everything wrong.
Well, I don't think we were doing everything wrong.
We weren't doing enough.
She wanted us to do more.
But what?
She wanted us to believe in something greater than ourselves.
But what?
I don't know.
Kids run away all the time, right? She'll be back.
Scene 12. Medieval France. Jaime and Jacques, a young soldier.
Sir Baudricourt is occupied. You must wait with me.
How long? I got no time to waste here, buddy. I gotta lead this army. God's like whispering in my ear, okay? I hear voices.
He has gone to visit the other encampment. He may be hours away. I don't know what you are, but I find you very beautiful.
Oh, cool.
My name is Jacques. I am a country boy, a peasant like yourself. I find your gender confusion charming. They told me you are from the village of Domremy.
That's right.
I'm from the next village over. You remind me of home. The river, the fields, the sweet villages.
You remind me of that too.
It's awful here. The battalion is terrible. Boots and blood and anger. The boys play terrible games, but I can tell that you are something else.
Geez, thanks. Don't tell anyone, but I'm from the future.
I knew there was something strange and special about you. What's it like in the future?
Different.
Are there more like you?
Well, where I come from, androgyny is on the up and up. It'll get better in the future. It'll be cool to be gay and stuff. Mostly.
How far in the future? How long must I wait?
I don't know. Kind of long, I guess.
I may never live to see it.
Don't be so pessimistic.
My death might come soon. Most boys don't return from war. These days might be my last.
But if you die, at least you'll die for France.
That is what I think about dying for France.
You don't love France? What about our sweet villages?
A village is not France. France is a bad idea. There isn't a single crown that wasn't built from the blood of boys like me.
But I thought the English were occupying. Don't you want freedom?
Freedom for who? I see Baudricourt is arriving. He will see you now.
Oh, Greetings, Sir Baudricourt. I have traveled very far. The angels doth speaketh to me. They doth addresseth me to a field, to the ordereth, to get thee to an army. Quick, you've got to free France.
Take off your clothes. They are an abomination.
I had to protect myself as a virgin traveling alone.
You are a sinner through and through.
The history books are going to call me a saint.
Go home and tell your father to box your ears when you get there.
What does that even mean, ear boxing? And I don't have a dad. I had a sperm donor. You guys are so heteronormative.
You can try to impress me with your vast vocabulary, but you still may not fight in my battalion, as you are a strange peasant girl with an annoying, shrill voice.
You're going to lose at Rouvray.
We stand no chance of losing at Louvre.
The voices told me. Wait and see, I'll be right.
Scene 13. Ted stumbles next door to Karen and Sally's house.
Hello.
Hello.
I was pooping, that's why I didn't come right away.
It's okay.
Do you want to come in?
I'm afraid to.
Well, that's understandable.
No, it's not.
You've never been inside before, we're the neighbors who fight loudly.
I lost all my hair for good 2 nights ago.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
It has felt insurmountable.
I can't even imagine. Given my long tresses.
I want to talk to you about something important, but I don't want to come inside. I can tell that strange things happen inside.
How about let's just sit on the porch and stare at the field?
Okay.
I always feel funny when I stare at the field.
Me too. Aren't you a scientist?
Yes.
What kind?
It's very hard to explain to people who aren't science people. Are you science people?
I'm horse people. Professional jockey.
Oh yes, I think my wife told me that. How long have you lived in the neighborhood?
Forever. Since before it was a neighborhood. Back when it was horse country.
I'd love to know what it was like back then.
It was like the field. Just like the field. Where is your daughter?
Why did you ask that just now?
I don't know.
No, really.
Is she at school? She's probably at school.
She's not at school.
Is she at therapy?
How did you know she goes to therapy?
I'm just intuitive.
She's gone.
Where?
We don't know.
That must be difficult. You're very beautiful.
A lot of people don't think lesbians are going to be beautiful.
Yes, I also thought that.
Because they aren't movie stars and things. Except for Ellen.
This was exactly my thinking.
But we are beautiful.
Now I know that's true. And it is beautiful to me that you study science, even though I don't know what kind.
Thank you. I admire that you are a horse jockey. I would regularly think a horse jockey would be a very virile specimen. I always think it's interesting that the word specimen has men inside it. But anyway, you are skinny and sickly.
I haven't eaten or slept in almost 48 hours.
Goodness, what's that about?
I think I saw your daughter disappear.
Scene 14. Medieval France.
You have been examined thoroughly, found to be free of evil, full only of goodness, humility, virginity, piety, and integrity.
Phew, that's a relief.
But I still don't know what you are.
I am Joan of Arc.
You said we'd lose at Rouvray?
Angels. Also, I have damn good grasp of military strategy.
You saved us, and I still don't understand how, but I have the feeling you're not bad luck. And I'd rather you die than a man, so your first task, lead these guys to Orléans, take it back, and do it fast.
Hey, fellas. What's up? I'm gonna be your commander now. I know. It sounds ridiculous, but I'm like, holy. God's like talking to me. Yep. Voices pouring in my ear all the time. I've been thoroughly vetted. Serious background checks here. I'm the real thing. Hey. Eyes on the prize, okay? Shit, this is hard. Any wine around here? You didn't drink it all? Already? Damn. And these are supposed to be the guys I used to take back Orleans. What a shit show.
We never saw a woman drink before, sir.
I'm not really a woman.
That's why I tacked on the sir.
Anyways, how far is Orleans?
Several days' journey.
Well, onward, ho! What's the big deal, guys?
Please, we are terrified. We've just seen half our battalion killed.
We've never had our troop led by a woman before.
And Orléans is under English siege, scorched earth, terrible conditions. No one has been able to take it back for months. So pardon me, but a poor illiterate peasant girl taking back Orléans?
Anyone who doubts my superiority can drop and give me 20. In fact, all of you, drop and give me 20. And 20 more.
Scene 15.
They said 3 days. Most children located within 3 days.
But where could she be? We should check the library again. She always goes to the library.
She'll come back. We just have to give it time.
But where would she go? What if she doesn't come back?
It's only been 48 hours. Maybe she's just hiding in the park. They said 3 days.
But 48 hours of our daughter missing out in the world without us. You really seem like you don't care at all.
Sweetheart, of course I care. How could you say that? We're doing everything we can.
I don't care for porridge at all.
You mean the oatmeal?
Should you really be out of bed?
This stuff you keep bringing me, I'm going on a fast.
What is this fasting business? You can't fast. You're getting over surgery.
Oh, merde.
Mom, what's with the French thing?
It is my first language.
That is just not true. It started the day of your surgery. Before that, you never spoke a word of French in your life.
Don't want to belong to you. God told me not to eat.
Did you just say God?
Do not take the Lord's name in vain.
Did you find God through the surgery process or something?
I knew God long before the fire.
You've been a dogmatic atheist my whole life.
Is there something else I could eat?
What would you want? I thought oatmeal might be comforting.
Mutton.
I'm sorry?
This from the militant vegan?
What is mutton made of again? Sheep? Deer?
Rabbit? I guess I'll see if we have any frozen meat in the basement.
Mom, did Jaime say anything to you about going anywhere?
Z went to complete the journey.
Who's Z? Oh, wait. How did you know about her weird pronoun thing? You were asleep.
Z will be traveling now. Traveling long journeys, fighting hard battles.
Did Jaime tell you where she was going?
I've been there too. I forgot until they put me to sleep. A deeper part of me remembered. Once you have been there, you are forever changed. You can never leave. You are one of us.
Mom, did something happen to you during the surgery?
You know, being a woman was different. Before. People were easier to trick then. That's why cross-dressing always works in Shakespeare's plays. You just put on a cap and lower your voice and people believe.
You've seen a lot of change in your lifetime.
In the old days, it was much easier to be a boy.
To pass?
Listen, kid. If you wanted to do something a girl couldn't, you could just dress as a boy. Easy peasy. Good old days. Back and forth. All the time. Except you might get burnt.
Who are you?
Haven't figured yet.
Scene 16. Medieval France. A battle camp at night. A battle camp at night!
Sir, please wake, sir, please.
Huh?
Please wake, sir. I need your counsel.
Are we being attacked?
I need you to speak to me of the future. I can't sleep at all. None of the boys can. We lay awake, pressed together like sardines, fear rippling between us.
Man, there's nothing to be afraid of anymore. We're going to win, I promise.
I can't enter another battle. You saw how it was, swords and spears and blood, and the English with their longbows. I'll never survive.
I know what you mean. I was pretty terrified too when I first saw what it was like. Guys dropping like flies, big gnarly wounds, and the cannons. I kind of froze up. But then I thought to myself, there's a reason to why I'm here. France needs me. I know we're gonna win because the angels told me so. And I come from the future, so I seen it.
They tell me you have glimpsed your own death.
Yep, in the history books.
They said you saw yourself dying by fire.
That's how it's gonna go.
Tell me how I will die.
Well, you're not really in the history books, no offense.
I know you can see it. I know you can see the future. Tell me my fate.
Okay, see, that's not like information everyone wants all the time. It can be really spooky. You kind of want to like live your life first and not always think about your death.
I can't sleep for the fear. You can't imagine what it's like to know that someone walking around to the camp leading me in battle has the knowledge. You must let me know what you see.
Okay. You, my man, are going to live to be 87. You're going to die in the spring morning in your sleep. You're going to fight all these battles and survive. And then head home and marry a sweet girl and have some cute kids and live to see your grandchildren. Sounds good?
Oh, thank you, dear Joan.
Scene 17, dinner.
Three days. It's been 3 days.
3 days was an average, honey. I think we should do what the officer suggested and have dinner like normal. We've done everything we can.
I just don't understand where she would go.
Maybe she had something she had to do.
You sound just like my mother. Why are you so relaxed?
Because I don't think it helps anyone for us to have panic attacks. I think there's things about the situation we can't understand. How's sitting up, Grands?
It's better than being burnt.
I feel distinctly weird about this.
It went great the last time I went over.
Maybe we could send them a note or call them on the phone?
We don't have their number.
That's what phone books are for.
We recycled the phone book.
Did we?
And I don't even know their last name. How am I going to look them up? And anyway, why would we do that when we can just come over? They live right next door.
I'm just saying I feel distinctly weird about this.
Snookums, visiting them is the only thing that's making me feel better.
Wonderful.
You don't have to get it.
Well, it's probably the police.
We're in the middle of dinner.
Our daughter is missing! Hi!
Hi!
Hi. We brought a casserole, fig and anise.
Is your wife home?
She is, but we're in the middle of dinner.
What are you having?
Oh, we don't have any more.
Then you're not really in the middle, huh?
Honey, we should go.
Ted,
Hey!
invite them in. What are you waiting for?
We're kind of in the middle of a family emergency. They're not really a part of our family.
Come in, sit down. Can I make anyone a drink?
We don't have any drinks. We don't drink.
I want a drink.
This is my parent-in-law. They're staying with us while they recover from gender affirmative surgery. These are our neighbors, Joe and Ted. How nice of you to stop by.
We brought a
I
casserole.
think I know you.
Yes, I agree.
Maybe you saw each other through the window.
What window?
We know each other from another time.
Well, isn't that interesting?
What does that even mean?
We came by because we wanted to check about your daughter.
Still gone.
So sorry to hear that.
Yeah, she's still... We don't know anything.
We thought you were the police. That's why we opened the door.
So sorry we weren't the police.
Did Sally tell you about...
Shh! What?
How much time have you spent in the field, Karen?
None.
Honey, I don't know if we should...
Voulez-vous un pamplemousse?
Ah, oui, oui, je m'appelle.
Aren't you jockeys?
We're both jockeys. Yes, Ted's more professional. I'm just a retired nurse.
Well, why aren't you out jockeying right now?
There's no horse races tonight.
Are you going to race in the Kentucky Derby?
I'm not that good.
How good are you?
I don't know. I'm kind of amateur.
Now that's not true. Honey, you're wonderful.
What do you do?
Beats me.
She worked in finance for 30 years.
I don't remember.
She doesn't remember most things. What do you think about that? You're in your 70s and you decide to transition.
Honey, no one decides to transition.
You keep saying that, but I really think she did.
Okay, first of all, they. Second, you don't wake up one morning and decide you're trans.
That wasn't what I was trying to say.
Well, what were you trying to
That
say?
there's a difference between deciding you're trans and deciding to transition.
A
But no
very
one
interesting
decides
point. Can
to
I
be
serve
trans.
anyone some
Listen,
casserole?
you just have some deep, essential trans soul.
I'm sure some people believe that.
Just bags of meat, okay? That's all a human is, a fucking bag of meat! Honey, we have this! How sad. Anyway, to be right at the end of your life and finally figure out who you are.
Better than to not figure it out at all.
And maybe that's how we all live anyway. Discovering ourselves on the precipice of death.
Well, she's... They're not exactly on the precipice right now.
It's great if they can be who they are.
That any of us can.
People used to die for that.
They still do.
What, Mom? I mean, not Mom, sorry.
You've gone far away so you don't have to see.
She's having a rough time recovering from surgery. I mean they.
All I mean is, we're very lucky to have arrived here and now, in these nice houses with the freedom to be who we are.
Here, here.
I meant to get you drinks.
Don't. I have something to say. Your daughter was abducted from the field. I saw it happen.
What? By like aliens?
Quelle un croissant or un baguette?
Je suis croissant, oui, oui, baguette.
Seems like you're really soup people over here, huh?
We got a new blender, so.
I think it's time to throw the neighbors out. I don't like what's happening.
Thanks so
You know,
much
we're not
for
the same
having
kind
us.
of people, you and I.
Is
Should
this
we leave
really
the
the moment
casserole?
for this conversation?
Our daughter's disappearance was supernatural, but all you know how to do is say no. It's something magical, and magic is made of saying yes.
What are you even talking
Take
about?
orders of the universe. I need you to trust me and work with me and not tell the police. Or I need you to go.
Honey, this is my house.
I thought we shared things. I thought we believed in the collective.
Which is exactly why you can't kick me out.
Look, all of us are on board. And now we're just waiting for you.
Scene 18, medieval France.
Oh man, remember the part when you were right behind and then that other guy just swooped in like a motherfucker? And the part when I just marched us all out there holding the flag without even a sword? And oh my god, the look of those guys' faces, what douchebags. And you, man, the way you were slaying those Brits, you were on fire. Gather the troops. We'll have a drink tonight. A drink for Orleans.
Sir, many are wounded.
Bring them round. I'll thank them for their service and see that their wounds are treated.
There's one boy, badly wounded, said you'd read his fortune, told him he'd live to see 87 years.
Wait, Jacques? I don't believe it. I saw him walk out on 2 feet.
He said he had to see you. Last wishes.
I already told you this war was not worth dying for.
I don't understand. I saw you get up.
You lied to me. Defend yourself.
I don't know what to say.
You said I'd survive, then led me to my death.
I'm sorry.
You have nothing more to say for yourself?
You'll be honored in the future. I'll make sure of it.
You should not have led us into battle. Bring my body back to my village. The one next to Dom Remy.
Prepare to carry his body home.
But sir, we have no time. The English are advancing on us.
It shall only require 2 of you. Get his body back to his mother.
Why him?
Yeah, why this guy?
Hundreds have perished already, and their bodies were not returned to their mothers.
I will not return him unless we return all.
Agreed.
The English are advancing. We must move at once.
Where to, sir?
Nowhere.
You must direct us, sir.
Direct yourselves.
But if you stay, you will surely perish.
So So what?
We must move quickly!
But she will not move!
Then we will move her.
You could try to move me, but I won't leave Jacques alone.
What should we do?
I'm getting out of here. Danger zone.
Come on, Joan.
No! She's wounded!
We must remove her now. Disregard her wishes.
Quickly!
Scene 19.
You again.
I came to speak to you, but I don't want to come in. Let's talk on the porch and stare into the field.
Good.
I was a youth, a peasant soldier, and I fell in love with you. In the fields, our hometowns were close together. You were, very busy.
Saving France.
Right. I wanted your attention because I admired your saintliness. I actually wanted your sexual attention, seeing as I was a young boy. But in that time, I wasn't allowed to want your saintliness and your sexuality. They were mutually exclusive. And you knew this and did not tempt me.
I had to pretend I didn't have desires in that time.
This one's different, I think. Actually, I don't know. Maybe not if you're a woman.
What do you know about my grandchild?
She was taken from the field. There was a whole crowd of women.
Jones. We are many.
What does it mean to be a Joan?
You are not afraid to die.
These things are not foreign now. Perhaps your grandchild thought they were, but they are not. Boys go off to war and die for the nationalism thing. Girls too, and trans people. Although that is more recent.
I really believed in the English-French binary back then.
I went to war, but honestly, I never stopped fearing death.
My daughter has built a whole life around avoiding death. I wish I could remember meeting you.
Touch me. Do you remember now?
Maybe a little bit?
Maybe if we kiss, you'll remember.
Is that something you want to do?
I want you to remember meeting me.
But independently, do you want to kiss me?
Sure.
But what part of me are you attracted to? Is it the medieval farm girl, the virgin saint, the gender non-conforming grandparent?
Obviously, all of it.
Something's wrong, Jacques.
Jacques?
In medieval France.
How do you know?
Something's wrong for my grandchild.
I think so too. I think she is there in medieval Europe living the Joan life, and I have this feeling that unless you go back and find her, she'll never come back to this time.
I must go back and help Zir.
Is it okay for you to be doing that so soon after your surgery? I'm a little afraid you're gonna tear something.
I see you want to go back.
I need to find my grandchild. Something isn't right.
You burned and returned. You're sure you want this?
I'm sure. Very well then.
Goodbye!
Scene 20, medieval France.
I brought meat.
Will you eat meat, dear Joan? She always wants meat.
Wine?
Water?
Bread?
What is it you desire, dear Joan? Her wounds won't heal because she doesn't eat or drink. Her strength is waning.
When was the last time she spoke?
Not for days, hasn't spoken since the Battle of Orleans, since that boy died in battle.
The soldiers are asking after her. Joan, they need you to direct them. You were always the one with the plan. We are aimless without you. We will surely lose.
She will not stir.
You guys! There's another one.
Another what?
Another illiterate peasant girl from the village of Domremy who says she hears voices and leads the Armagnac troops. I thought you might know her, seeing as how you're also an illiterate peasant girl from the village of Domremy.
Please, soldiers, leave us in peace. We have many things to discuss. Jaime,
How'd you get here?
I've been here before.
Did I know that?
How did you let yourself get so badly injured? This isn't part of the story. You've missed the part where you should have been captured. You might never get to the trial, and if you die before they burn you, you'll never return. Is that what you really want?
If I don't put on the boy clothes, will they still burn me?
Why are you trying not to get burned?
Will it hurt?
Not if you believe.
Believe in what?
What happened to you? You were never like this before.
Grands, someone died who wasn't supposed to die.
A lot of people died who weren't supposed to die.
That wasn't part of the story before. In the future.
It was. We just didn't talk about it. We were focused on Joan. She died to be who she was.
But what about the people who didn't ever get to be who they wanted? Who didn't even want to die for it? What about the people who died for things they don't believe in?
There are always those, in this time and ours.
It doesn't seem glamorous anymore. It doesn't seem exciting anymore. It only seems unnecessary. Why lead more and more of them into battle? Joan is terrible. She leads so many of these young people to their deaths, and I'm supposed to admire her? Because of what? Her gender identity? I thought Joan would be different.
How would you like her to be?
Scene 21.
It was just like the first time, a crowd of medieval cross-dressing women. They were phenomenal, I gotta say.
I can't believe everything you've seen.
There is something whack about our field.
There's always been something whack about our field.
And something whack about that family.
I do have a fondness for them.
You do?
Now that we formally met, I like how openly they fight, not behind closed doors, not passive-aggressive. And the desire that pulled both grandparent and grandchild back in time.
I've been a neighbor to this family across the centuries. In the 15th century, our hometowns were next door. And now here we are again in adjacent houses.
I told you not to call the police.
It's what we have to do when an elderly person goes missing, especially as the same week that our daughter goes missing. It's a social concern. I think we may be being targeted for homophobia. I mean, the transgender grandparent and the daughter of lesbians both go missing in the same week.
Okay, I know where they went. And we can never go find them because we have no connection there. They all had past lives there and we didn't. We might have past lives somewhere else, but we'd never know.
This is an actual concern around danger during our current life.
Honey? Oh gosh.
I'm not crying about us.
It's okay, buddy. It's okay to cry.
I'm crying about these kids I heard about on NPR. Their mom was getting deported. They were Honduran. None of them had been to Honduras since being babies, but they didn't have citizenship here. And their mom was falsely convicted of stealing a bike. So she was going to be deported, and her two little daughters were 4 and 6. And I mean, how can you take a mother away from a child in this world we live in? How could you do that?
You feel a connection to that woman. Another mother who lost a child.
I mean, I'm a rich suburban lady. She was poor and didn't have citizenship, so I don't know what's going on, but now I cry at everything on NPR. I get in the car and turn on the station and sob. The violence in Syria, the climate change, the schools losing funding, the woman who built her own business selling unique lollipops. The good, the bad, the indifferent. I cry for all the living things.
That's beautiful, sweetie.
I wish we had said something different to Jaime when she got obsessed with martyrs and terrorists.
What do you wish we had said?
Well, it's no good now.
I think we should practice. For when she comes back. She is coming back.
Well, all right. would be something like, oh gosh. Well, like, there's no one truth about whose death is noble, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those kinds of things get decided by governments and religions.
Amen.
And some saints were assholes.
And some perfectly amazing people died in car accidents.
And our world is full of a lot of shit. People who starve, who lose their homes, whose families get taken away from them.
Every kind of terrible, horrible unfairness you can think of.
Yeah. And you wouldn't know it looking around our neighborhood, but we actually happen to be some of the very, very, very few who are safe. So if you see something in this world that you want to be different, I hope you fight for it. And if you ever see something that you care enough about to risk your life for, I'd really, really want to know about it.
Scene 22. You must now know all of your crimes. Spiritual, judicial, interpersonal. You have left deep cuts in the heart of our nation. And last on this very long list of crimes is the crime of dressing as a man. Both of you. So now, what do you have to say for yourselves? The little girls who once had so much to say now have nothing to say at all.
I am not a little girl.
I am not a little girl.
Prove it.
We know ourselves to be who we are. There is no possible proof and none needed.
Who was it that told you to dress as a man?
I cannot say.
Who told you to dress as a man?
I also cannot say.
Why can't you tell us who told you to do it?
I can charge no one with this crime.
Then why do you dress as a man?
It is of my own accord, and not at the request of any man alive. Everything I have done at the instruction of my voices.
Who are these voices that speak to you? Does it come as an angel or directly from God?
It is the voices.
But what are the voices?
They are just that.
Voices.
It pleases the voices that we dress like this, that we wear men's clothes.
The church does not support your claims of hearing the voices of God or angels. And you are running a very serious risk of heresy and blasphemy. So I'm going to ask you one more time. What are these voices?
They are the clearest sense of truth, the deepest self.
A potency impossible to translate. Our bodies and clothing are only the closest approximation.
Ourselves infinite. We cannot afford to lose a single one.
Scene 23.
How did you find me?
I can always find you.
But how did you know to come find me?
I just knew. Your neighbor came to see me. You were failing to complete the steps. We were in danger of losing the path.
I could have never done trial without you.
You know what comes next, right?
The burning.
But first,
We put on the boys' clothes.
yes. Are you ready?
Wait. I have to do something first.
Scene 24.
If I could have one day at home,
One day.
I mean, I'd swim in the river, kiss my girlfriend, eat my mama's cooking. What about you?
I guess the same.
I don't know.
You brought it up like you had an idea.
I mean, if I was in my village for even a day, I'd sleep with all the girls who wanted me. Is that ridiculous?
It's your fantasy, go get them.
Who will our next leader be?
Don't ask uncomfortable questions like that.
Joan brought us all the way here and then got captured. What are we supposed to do without her? She had a vision.
And don't forget that other Joan who showed up for a second.
And now we're stuck in this awkward encampment trying to figure out where to go next and who's gonna lead us.
And I can't stop dreaming of home.
Hey, guys.
Joan!
Don't talk so loud. How about it? They're trying to capture me, and I gotta give you guys an important message.
You gotta lead us. We have no idea how to save France without you.
Do you guys actually care about saving France?
You are a hero.
Okay, any one of you that wants can be a hero. And let me tell you something. You do not have to save France to be a hero. Look, if there's anything I learned traveling back in time and all, is that no one else can tell you what to fight for. In France, jury's on whether or not it's a worthy fight, I gotta say. So, the history book definition of hero, I'm over it. You're free now. Choose what you want to fight for and don't let anyone else run your life. You're heroes already. Go forth. The fire didn't hurt me. Gran smiled, so I did too. I knew we had to burn to return.
Scene 25.
Is identity shaped by what you lose or what you care about?
Are they different?
I think we should bulldoze all the houses in this neighborhood until it is the country again.
I would like to liberate my horses from their stable.
They could have the whole neighborhood in which to roam. It wouldn't exactly be a neighborhood, it would be country, just straight up country. You know, before these containing things like houses and stables. I wonder where our past lives were.
I do too.
Isn't it funny that we lived next door for 10 years and never really talked?
We sat on our porch a lot.
So did we.
We saw you.
Sometimes we talked about you.
Ted, sorry.
We talked about you too. At least now we can talk to you.
Mom, honey,
Oh gosh,
Mom!
I knew you'd come back. I knew it.
I knew it too.
I can't imagine what you've been through.
Let's get you water and food.
Sit down. Joe made this casserole. What's in it again?
Acorn squash and feta cheese.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to